Buck Rogers in the 25th century blasted onto television screens in 1979, bringing futuristic adventure and sci-fi action to eager audiences. But behind its dazzling debut was a quiet collapse nobody expected. From soaring ratings to backstage tension and creative chaos, the series experienced a dramatic rise and fall that still fascinates fans today. The character of Buck Rogers didn't start on television. He was born in print in 1928, then exploded into comic strips, radio dramas, and film serials long before NBC revived him for modern audiences. By the late 1970s, fresh off the cultural shockwave of Star Wars, America was hungry for space adventures again. That timing couldn't have been better. In 1979, Buck Rogers in the 25th century premiered in an unusual way. Its pilot was first released as a theatrical movie, earning over $20 million and proving that Buck still had box office power. When the weekly series followed, viewers were introduced to a 20th-century astronaut frozen in space who awakens 500 years in the future. At the center was Gil Gerard, whose confident charm made Buck instantly likable. Alongside him, Erin Gray brought strength and authority to Colonel Wilma Deering, one of TV's earliest female sci-fi officers who wasn't written as a sidekick. Their chemistry anchored the show, while villains like Princess Ardala gave it ongoing dramatic tension. Season 1 struck a winning balance: light-hearted adventure, futuristic gadgets, humor, and action. Ratings were strong. Merchandise flew off shelves. Fans packed conventions. For a moment, Buck Rogers looked like it might become television's next long-running sci-fi powerhouse. But trouble was already brewing behind the scenes. Gerard reportedly clashed with producers over creative direction. He believed the show worked best as playful, character-driven adventure. Network executives, however, wanted something darker and more serious, closer to hard sci-fi. That disagreement became impossible to ignore when Season 2 arrived. The entire format shifted. Earth-based stories were dropped in favor of deep space exploration. Several supporting characters vanished. New ones appeared. The tone grew colder and more dramatic. For longtime viewers, it felt like a completely different series wearing the same title. At the same time, budgets tightened. Props were recycled from other Universal productions, including Battlestar Galactica. Sets became simpler. Effects were scaled back. What once felt colorful and imaginative now looked restrained. Fans noticed. Ratings began to slide. And while audiences were drifting away, legal disputes over the Buck Rogers rights complicated any long-term plans. Ownership battles dating back decades made it difficult to expand the franchise or confidently invest in its future. By 1981, after just 2 seasons, NBC pulled the plug. There was no proper finale, no emotional goodbye. The show simply ended, leaving storylines unresolved and viewers stunned. For many fans, that abrupt cancellation remains one of sci-fi television's most frustrating exits. Afterward, the cast went in very different directions. Gil Gerard continued acting in TV movies and guest roles, but Buck Rogers defined his career. He later spoke openly about personal struggles, yet remained a beloved figure at science fiction conventions. Erin Gray transitioned successfully into mainstream television, most notably starring in Silver Spoons, while staying closely connected to fandom through convention appearances and her talent booking company. Tim O'Connor, who played Dr. Huer, went on to steady work in shows like Dynasty and General Hospital. Felix Silla, who physically portrayed Twiki, continued a unique career in character roles, including an Ewok in Return of the Jedi. And legendary voice actor Mel Blanc gave Twiki his unforgettable personality, while still voicing countless animated icons. Even decades later, Buck Rogers holds a special place in pop culture. Not because it lasted forever, but because it burned brightly for a short time. Its downfall wasn't caused by one infamous scene or single mistake, and it was the result of shifting creative visions, shrinking budgets, legal complications, and a Season 2 reinvention that alienated its core audience. In the end, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century didn't fail because fans stopped loving it. It fell because Hollywood changed what they loved about it. And sometimes, in television, that's all it takes for even a futuristic hero to lose his orbit.